For most of their married life, Fred and Regina Holliday couldn't afford health insurance, even when both of them were working.
Because as a family of four, when we looked at insurance in the open market, it was $1,000 per month. And there was no way we could pay that bill and pay our apartment rent and pay for food.
So Fred lived with some worrisome symptoms for several years, including pain in his ribs and back. In 2008, he finally landed a job with health insurance and went to the doctor for a series of tests. But by then, it was too late.
And on the fourth day, an oncologist came in the room that was somebody who was on call, and she just looked at us. She's like, "Oh, well, it's everywhere. It's in his bones and it's in his lungs." And I knew what that meant. That meant he had stage 4 kidney cancer. And the likelihood of survival more than about 12 weeks was not very high. And then on June 17th, he died. It was very hard to lose my husband. But I'm very glad that the things we've done since have helped other people and helped them to have a better life.
Lori Hitchcock lives in Portsmouth, New Hampshire, where she had established her own business. But when the economy failed, so did her business and her health care coverage.
And I began to look for health care independently and found that because I have a pre-existing condition of hepatitis C, there was just no way for me to obtain health care. This is Lori Hitchcock from GNR. You would exchange some...
So Lori looked for a job with benefits and was lucky to find employment with GNR.
I'm the recruiter for that position. I'm calling to follow up on your resume.
The only problem is GNR is in Rochester, New York, 400 miles from her home in Portsmouth, New Hampshire.
Continue 8.3 miles on I-490 East.
It's a 6.5-hour commute. If I get out of here at 5 o'clock on Friday, I don't get home until midnight, and I have to leave early Sunday morning, and I'm exhausted when I get back. You know, I'm maintaining 2 households in order to keep health insurance.
Now that the Affordable Care Act is law, Lori expects health care reform to make a real difference in her life.
By making the pre-existing conditions not such an issue, I think it will, it'll make it easier for me to obtain health care, and that will increase my options. I'll be able to look at home for employment and know that I'll be able to be insured.
Nathan and Sonja Wilkes have 3 children, daughters Nora and Natalie, and son Thomas, their second born.
We had our second child in 2003, and within a day, they said, "Hey, he's bleeding uncontrollably." They diagnosed him with severe hemophilia. Severe hemophilia is a bleeding disorder, so he needed medication to control the bleeding. That's when we started getting crazy bills, even though we had insurance. $50,000 bill came within a couple weeks. So as he's growing up, as he's requiring medication, has injuries, we need to treat it, those bills start to add up, and they ultimately put a lifetime cap on the plan.
You know, at that point, Thomas was a $750,000 a year child, and he wasn't even a year old. What were we going to do? How were we going to pay for his medication?
Then we realized, oh, now they're using lifetime caps to get rid of us.
The technology has improved greatly in just one generation, and to the point where with clotting factor replacement, which is the medication that Thomas gets on a daily basis, his blood can stay at a normal level to where it can clot. So that's why it's so important that he get his medication.
You know, regularly he might cost $30,000, $40,000 a month to keep him sustained and
that's
normalized.
Without bleeding. I mean, if he's bleeding, that cost per month can easily be doubled or tripled. In my mind, I kept going back to the hematologist saying he can have a perfectly normal life, but not if he doesn't have access to his medication. And so it was really frightening for us of how are we going to pay for him to have that normal life.
The Affordable Care Act gets rid of the lifetime caps. So we're no longer worried about, how long is this insurance going to last us. As long as we're paying the premiums, we can keep it and we can keep him covered and well.